Okay, good morning, everybody. So imagine a friend of yours is starting a venture business. She's got a great idea. You're interested in the content. And actually, you have some skills she requires. But she doesn't know what kind of deal to offer you to get you involved in her venture. My advice to you, and what I'm going to talk about this morning, is don't ask for equity. Ask for promissory notes. What are promissory notes? Promissory notes are a mechanism similar to preferred shares, where they involve no equity stake in the business, but you get paid first, essentially. They're also conditional. You don't get paid if the business doesn't take off. I'm going to give you some background about how I came to believe so heartily in promissory notes as a mechanism for structuring a venture business. I took part in a number of venture businesses in the early 2000s, and one of them was a 50-50 equity split. And the problem was my business partner, he basically wanted to throw in the towel. He said he didn't think that the business could take off. And what this did was it put me in an awkward situation because I felt the business could take off. So I said to him, I'm interested in getting other business partners involved, and how can we renegotiate? At the point that I asked him to renegotiate, he felt that this was now a violation of our terms, that a 50-50 split meant that it was 50-50 until death do us part, or until I bought him out, and I wasn't in a position to buy him out. I had put some money into it, he'd put some money into it. I had put technical programming skills into it, and he had put his marketing skills into it. And he couldn't just walk away from it without, for some reason, he felt that I should throw it away or buy him out. There was no alternate shape for him to be able to proceed forward with that. Another venture I was involved with was he already had an English language game. It was a board game and then later a mobile game. And he was definitely the primary owner, the primary stakeholder, and he was looking to bring people on to help him out with his business. And at first he paid me for my time and materials, and then asked me if I was interested in coming on as a business partner. And I was interested in coming on as a business partner. But when we talked about how I would be rewarded as a business partner, he said to me, I'll take care of you. When the business is a success, I'll look out for you. I'll take care of you, is what he said. And I didn't feel assured by this alone. So I spent about 8 hours drafting up a bunch of work agreements, which were basically the premise of my current philosophy around promissory notes, whereby I would invoice him weekly for the time and materials that I worked on, and he would write me promissory notes for about double or 3 times my regular market value to be paid when sales reached a certain plateau. And he was extremely upset that I had spent 8 hours working on writing up contracts instead of programming. And he felt that it was also a violation of our trust that I would proceed to write up a contract. And needless to say, I didn't proceed working with him anymore. But both of those experiences just strengthened my resolve that there needs to be really clear boundaries and agreements in the beginning of a startup, especially because startups have actually a low probability of success. So when you go into it, you have to be cognizant of that and have a very flexible framework that can easily be scaled. So going back to our friend who wants to start a business and you have some skills, what kind of agreement could you strike with her? Well, similarly to the one that I drafted up for my friend making the board game, you could present her with weekly reports of the work that you did, and she could issue you promissory notes to pay you your hourly rate at a premium, to only be paid out of pure profit. That is to say, after all basic expenses are paid, but no salaries are paid. And furthermore, in the order that the promissory notes are issued. This also allows for a framework where other business partners can be brought on, and it's understood that promissory notes will only be paid off in order that they were issued. So what are the advantages to the promissory notes system? Well, one is it allows the owner to maintain sole proprietorship so that she has the authority to run her business as she sees fit, all of the advantages of that. It's also a strong incentive for the worker to see that the business succeeds. But it also provides leverage. Hypothetically, she could come to you after the business starts making money and say to you, great, we're making a few thousand or tens of thousands of dollars in sales a month now, and I would really like to expand the business. I would really like to hire some workers. At that point, she could say, can we trade your $20,000 in promissory notes for a 15% share in the business, at which point I could accept that or deny that and walk away. And either way, I'm assured that the contribution that I made will be recognized. Where are promissory notes not applicable? Obviously, if you have enough seed money, or if the business is small enough that you can do all the tasks yourself. What kind of businesses could this be applicable to? Any kind, brick and mortar, online, indie movies, books, or artistic ventures. What are the alternatives to promissory notes? Well, there's equity shares, and profit sharing. The problem is that both of those essentially involve slicing of the pies, and the slicing of the pie eventually runs out. And the last alternative is crowdfunding. Currently, crowdfunding is in its initial stage. There's only really, the biggest use cases for crowdfunding are pre-ordering and gathering donations. And one of the problems with crowdfunding is that it's actually illegal to publicly solicit securities in a lot of places. However, that legislation is changing. And so in the future, there could be a crowdfunding site that actually offers this kind of framework. When I started off my talk, I said, what if a friend came to you with a business idea? And I want to end on this note, which is, if you are passionate about an idea, instead of giving away your idea, think about offering promissory notes instead. Thank you.